Hello everyone, welcome back to Sim Auctions. In today's video, we'll be conducting a World Series based on a recently completed Sim auction, which involved the players from the 1960 Pittsburgh Pirates, the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, 1988 Los Angeles Dodgers, 2002 Oakland A's, and the 2013 Detroit Tigers. So in a sim auction, we don't use the actual historical teams. Instead, what we do is we take all the players from those teams, we make all those players free agents, and then from that player pool, we construct five brand new teams via a salary cap auction. Now, to get more details on these historical teams, please take a look at my auction video where I go into quite a bit more detail on them. So at this point, all the participants in the sim auction have submitted to me their lineups and their pitching rotation for the teams they created. So the next step is to play a sim auction World Series. So in our version of a World Series, what we do is we play through entire seasons with the new teams that were created after the auction. We use the APBA computer game to play the seasons, and all the teams are actually managed by a computer manager. Now, the cool thing is in the sim auction version of the World Series, each season counts as one game. And then the team that wins four seasons wins the sim auction World Series. So basically, by simulating an entire season, we eliminate the randomness that is typically inherent in the traditional 4 out of 7 game World Series format. So before we dive into the Sims, let's just take a look at the teams that were created during the auction. Right, let's pull up the spreadsheet here. All right. Let's see. Nick's not here right now, so let's go over his team real quick here. Um, I thought Nick did a very disciplined auction. He paid 32 for Tejada. That was his highest player, and really just balanced all the way across. So I thought he did a nice. He doesn't really have any holes in his lineup. Catching, he uses Socia for probably about half of the at bats, but his other catcher is maybe the best one in the auction, Smith, Hal Smith. So I thought he did a very nice job. And then what I did with his team is I actually removed the three players that were not going to get a lot of at bats, really hardly any, based on the test sims I did, to give me a sense of what his true OPS would be. And his OPS actually got relatively close to Teddy's OPS. So Nick had a very good team.
You
And
had
then
a
on
you
the
got a very good deal on Hatterberg.
agreed, absolutely excellent deal. Um, all the way across, it was just a very disciplined team. And I think you and him were in the bidding on Hal Smith, and I understood that because again, going back to the whole scarcity principle, Smith really was the best catcher. So
Yeah, I think Smith was he went for a little bit of a high price, but I think with the scarcity, it's not too bad.
exactly, yep, completely agree. And then on the pitching side, another good thing with him is again very balanced and really no real dark holes. I mean, Gibbon a little bit because he is going to get some starts out of Gibbon, but really everybody else is a solid pitcher. Even some of the guys with W's. I mean, keep in mind the W will kill you if it's a low grade pitcher, but if it's a higher grade pitcher, you can kind of live with the W a little bit. So even when you look at Orozco, for example, okay, he's a 14 W, probably knocks him down to about a 12. Still a good pitcher. Same with Bowie, but less innings there. So anyway, Nick, very good team, competitive team. Um, and that's going to kick us over to Teddy. So, Teddy, what's your assessment on your team?
Yeah, I mean, I like having an offense that's kind of strong throughout. I don't have any. I mean, Kessinger, I guess when he plays is a bit of a weaker hitter, but at least he has the 9 defense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I did well on the hitting, pretty well on the pitching. As I said before, my concern with the pitching was that I only have like three and a half quality starters,
Right.
but I think that. I'm hoping at least that these some of the bullpen guys filling in for Haddix once he's out of innings as a starter. If Face is starting, it's not a terrible starting pitcher. So
Yeah,
yeah.
agreed. And I don't know if that was your game plan all along, but because you got some high grade relievers, that strategy might work. Because remember, like for example, you couldn't really pull that off with, for example, Rondon because he would go from a 9 to a 4 as a starter. But you can pull it off with the other three guys because Benoit will go from a 19 to a 14, still good. Face would go from a 14 to a 9, still pretty good. And then Holton, if he had to start any games, he'd be a 15. So because there
Yeah,
was a
that
lot of
really wasn't part of the strategy going in, but I think it just kind of yeah, it just kind of
yeah,
worked out that way. And
yeah,
there were much better deals on relief pitchers late than on starting pitchers, so that's just kind of how it played out, I
correct.
guess.
Correct. Yeah, there were. And there was a lot of relief in this auction to begin with, but and I didn't take a look at when was the first time that we got a reliever, and I could do that in a little
It
while,
might have
but
been Benoit. I mean, the crazy thing is I paid 17 for Benoit and I
right.
got Holton, who's clearly better for four. So
Correct. Yeah, it just depends on when the guy goes out, and you might be right. Benoit might have been. So think about that. It took 38 picks to bring out Benoit. So that's one of the reasons why you ended up with some bargains. That and the fact that there was a lot of heavy bidding on hitting early on. Um,
yeah.
but actually, that's a real good segue. Before we get to Jason's team, I want to show you a little analysis that I did that I don't always do for every auction, but I did it for this one, which is very eye-opening. So this is just a little spending analysis that I did. So in other words, I wanted to see after every lot how you guys compared money wise. So obviously at the beginning, everybody's going to be pretty much the same in the green. Then Steve spends early, starts to go into the yellow after that Scherzer pick or purchase. Everybody's still mostly in the green. Steve's in the yellow. Teddy, you start to get a little shade of yellow, but not too much. Now, Jason a little bit in the yellow as well. Steve clearly in the yellow. So at this point, Nick has the most money, managing his money the best. And then we continue down. Anthony's still in the green, but at this point, the talent is starting to evaporate. So now Anthony will start to get aggressive. Nick's still holding back in the green here. And then obviously we start to see some other changes. So now right around lot 57, yeah, so right around 57, Jason goes into the sort of reddish. He goes into that neighborhood first, followed by Anthony, a little bit by Steve, but Teddy still in the yellow. And really, why I want to point this out is Teddy was aggressive at the beginning, but then he just kind of laid low, and really kind of just laid low until the time was right. So from this stage on, the only guy that's sort of in the yellow is Teddy and Nick. Um, Jason, Anthony, and Steve are all in the red. So meaning that they're hurting from a cash flow perspective. So now we continue steady. Teddy's still yellow. Now Nick gets a little red. Teddy still has the lightest shade, indicating he's got the most flexibility with the money. And then eventually we get down to this point here, which I think was the key in my mind of the auction, right here. So lot 86, Teddy has $14. Actually, let me go back to lot 85. That's better. So lot 85, Teddy is sitting at $14, Nick at 11. Teddy needs 9 more players. Nick only needs 4. Chad Bradford comes up for auction, a decent grade 11 pitcher. Nick buys him. What that does is it moves Nick away from being able to buy Holton, which came out immediately after that. If Nick had brought up Holton here where Bradford came up, Teddy would not have had enough money to bid against Nick for Holton. So that juxtaposition could be what gives Teddy the championship. We'll see. But in some of the sims, that's sort of the way it's played out. So if Nick had brought up Holton, Teddy would not have been able to outbid him for it. But because Nick purchased Bradford, Holton basically became Teddy's. So I thought that was a fascinating juxtaposition of what, one of those what ifs that could have happened. Uh, but Teddy, the main reason I brought it up is because I thought you did a really nice job of managing that money. As everybody was kind of running out of money, including you still managed to have the most flexibility going down into like the 80 lots. So I thought you
Yeah,
did a really
there was
nice
a
job.
stretch I think of over 20 lots where I didn't take anybody. So
Yeah, yeah. So you really kind of like just waited in the weeds, and then you bought Face for 5, which was a huge profit, and then Tui Tui Sopo at 2 was not bad, but then the real clincher was when you bought Holton for 4. He was probably worth at least 3 times that. So
yeah.
yeah, so that was a huge purchase by you. But again, part of it is you really did a nice job of managing your money. And then at this point, I don't know whether Nick uh, thought he couldn't get Holton, because that's part of the challenge of the auction, right? It's about valuing the players, but also managing your money and knowing what's left in the auction. There's a lot of things that you have to maneuver and manage during the auction. It isn't just about having the right values. It's about managing the money, knowing what's left, and then pouncing on those remaining values at the end of the auction when they come up. So anyway, nice job there. Let's see. Let's go back to Jason. Jason, what do you think?
I thought I got a bargain on a few players, and I thought I way overpaid on a few players. So I thought I got good value on Victor Martinez, and Stewart. Ironically, is the one who sent me into the red. I actually thought about nominating Holton earlier just to get him out of the way. But
Yeah.
then I think I overpaid for Vukovic with my opening bid of 20, and even Chavez with 30, ending up getting him with 32. I thought maybe I even overpaid for Grote a little bit since there's so many defensive shortstops. So we'll see how it goes. I love my Hershiser Zito combo. If they win, if they win half the games, I think I'll be okay. But
I actually didn't
um,
think Vukovic at 20 was bad at all.
right.
Yeah, I thought Vukovic was fine. Where I think, in my opinion, again, I'm not, I could be wrong, but where I think you overpaid actually is with Hershiser. I mean, he is the best pitcher in the auction,
Hmm.
but he, in my mind, he just doesn't separate enough from some of the other guys that were pretty good. Uh, in other words, he's a great 17. Zito's a great 15. Is that worth 24 more dollars? I don't think so. So I
Right.
I thought, I mean, he's definitely the best pitcher in the auction, but I just think you could have used those 15. Like, let's just say he goes for around 40, or you get a
Hmm.
$40 pitcher. That $15 hitter would have helped you, I think, quite a bit on the hitting side. But again, in the heat of the battle, um, who knows what could happen? And I didn't edit the auction video yet, but I couldn't remember who was going up against you with Hershiser. Do you remember?
Teddy.
It was you, Teddy? Okay.
I don't think I was not me.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Maybe at some maybe at some point.
I was not, I remember I was not involved in that one specifically, but
Yeah. I'll have to look at the video because I have I have a feeling that it might have been Steve, because Steve does a great job of bidding up. He
I think it
Yeah, he
was Steve.
does.
I think it was
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve has no fear. Like there's no way that I would have been in there with you, Jason, at
Because
55.
I remember early on having the impression that I was valuing hitters more and Steve and Jason were valuing pitchers more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And again, he was the best pitcher. I just don't know. I don't know that he was, 55 best. That's all.
Yeah,
Um,
he's going to have to get a lot more wins than say
yeah.
Tudor, who's 17, for it to be
Right.
worthwhile. That's for certain.
Exactly. So, all right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go over to Anthony. Let's pull up the hitting side first. What do you think, Anthony?
I'm pretty happy with the first five guys there for sure. Should be able to anchor the lineup pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think I pieced together enough of a platoon split for the rest of the guys down there to fill in those extra plate appearances as well.
Yeah, the hitting looks solid. You're at 776 on the OPS. I don't think the hitting's going to be an issue. I think, and this is kind of a little minor thing, Anthony, but I think it did have a little bit of an impact. So I noticed that, let me see, where was it? This guy actually, Jose Gonzalez, actually got some at bats during the sim as a fill-in, and his OPS is really low. You might have done better with just a guy with like a 550 OPS. And even Cerrone, maybe I don't know if there were other catchers left at that point in time, but maybe just a slightly higher OPS might have helped too, because sometimes those extra guys do get a decent amount of at bats that end up hurting you a little bit. Again, not a big deal, but just something that I noticed.
Mhm.
And then, what do you think on the pitching side?
I'm pretty happy with the rotation for sure. Don't really have any bad options there. And then back into the bullpen also is pretty strong with Smiley and Pena.
Yeah, Smiley and Pena look solid. Couple of these other guys that Albuquerque does get used, so he's not that strong, but definitely Pena and Smiley are solid. And even Buchanan, 29 innings, but he's still not bad either. Let me just look at your starters for a second here. Yeah, the starters are not bad either. Not at all. Hudson's a 14 with a Z, Pfister a 10 with a Z, Belcher a solid 13, and then Mulder a 12 with a Z that pushes him close to 13. So it's a solid team. So all right. Let's see. Let's go over to Steve's team. And guys, I don't have visibility to I just have one screen on my that I'm looking at. So if Nick or Steve join, please let me know because I would be oblivious to it at this point. So
Yeah, they haven't joined.
okay, cool. So Steve, he's it's interesting because he got some hitting early on, but I just thought he might have overpaid for a few of these guys. Fielder, I thought he went for higher than I had him priced. Cooper even a little bit, and Thomas definitely. So I think maybe I don't know if Steve was trying to be aggressive and see if he could get some of you guys to bite. But I have the feeling that he might have maybe gotten stuck with one of these guys at least, because I thought he might have been trying to bid them up. I'll have to look at the video again to see where he started these guys at, but I just have a feeling that he might have been trying to bid up some of these guys.
I think he got a good price on Rick Dempsey and Mike Marshall though.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. I like the Marshall pick for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Dempsey for almost an 800 OPS, 200 plate appearances was great.
Yeah,
The
only
other one,
$2.
yeah, definitely. The other one I thought he was pretty good, Teddy, was Gantner. I thought for $1, a starting second baseman with a 700 OPS, not bad. So good
Yeah,
job.
that was a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then let's see on the pitching side. So he's got 216 grades, but that's really good. Leary at 13 is excellent with a Z. Then we got Lytle at 8 with a Z, not bad. And then he does get hurt a little bit with Medic with a 4, but the good thing is at least Medic doesn't have a W. So it's as decent a 4 as you could be. The bullpen, not bad. Koch, almost 100 innings at a grade 13. Slayton could go both ways. So he's got some relief. Green at 12 is nice as well. So very decent team. Got some hitting, got some pitching. Although the hitting is a little bit deceiving because you see some of these big names up here, but it only adds up to like a 740 OPS. A little bit higher than that because some of these guys at the bottom, you can kind of delete most of those at bats, but still not the best hitting team. Jason, one thing I forgot to mention on your team, let me go back to Jason's team for a second. I think the bullpen, Jason, will hurt you though. Because you got some starters, but if it goes into your bullpen, really after Cruz, it's a little thin. Sutton at a 6, so Valenzuela a 6W is probably more like a grade 4. So I
Hmm.
think this is the one spot here that I think definitely could impact you. But if these guys can pitch complete games, then not so much.
Yeah, I'm hoping my micromanager will just let their arms fall off.
All right, here we go. Let's bring up. Let me minimize this and bring up the LPB the APBA screen, and we'll get started. All right, I think that works. Let's take a look at our standings. We should be at 0-0. And we are. Here we go. We're going to get season 1 started. All right, obviously very early, but let's just take a look at the standings and see how things are going. Anthony in the lead, 11-8. Obviously, everybody's still in it, but Anthony early lead. Let's take another look. Anthony's still in the lead after 33 games. Teddy's in second. Let's take another look. Anthony still in the lead, 45 games. Teddy second, Nick third, Steve and Jason 6 out. Let's take another look here. Anthony and Nick now tied. Teddy only 1 out. Jason 3, Steve 6.
Pretty close.
Yeah, this is a tight one. We're just past the All-Star break. Let's take a look. Teddy jumps into the lead, but by only half a game, and really everybody is still in it. All right, I think I'm just going to keep it in the standings from now on. Let's see. Anthony jumps back into the lead now. 2.5 game lead over Teddy. Nick, 9.5 out. Jason, 10. Steve, 10.5. Anthony, 1 game lead now. Teddy right there, breathing down his neck. The others are a little bit farther out, but still technically in it. Anthony, 2 game lead now. Steve at 4 now. Nick at 5.5. We got a race.
Wow.
Anthony, 4 game lead now over Teddy, Steve, and Nick, 4.5. We got a magic number now. One over
Good
Steve,
Lord.
1.5, 2.5. Magic of 15. Anthony. What happened here? Looks like I got stuck. That never happened before. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
Give me 1 second. I know my computer's running a little hot. I got a little fan. It's weird. I've never seen that message before. Put this little fan on and see if we can cool things off a little bit. So, okay, that seemed to work. All right. Let's see where we're at here. Hopefully that fixed the issue.
Is the season over then?
It shouldn't be. We played a little bit more because it was magic number of 15. All right. So Anthony is leading magic number of 12. It was 15 before, so it looked like when I ended the day,
This is crazy close.
it played out the other games. So let's see. We have 148 games played. Steve is trailing Anthony by 1. Teddy, you're at 2.5. Nick at 3.5. Jason, you're 13 out. So at this point, really, it looks like it's a 4-team race to the end here with only 14 games to go. So here we go. Let me just see if my computer has cooled off a little bit. Let me give it a minute. Yeah, I've noticed just the last couple of days my computer acting a little bit odd, so it might be time for me to start thinking about a new one. This baby has done me well, but it is going on probably 7 years, which is probably more than you could expect from most laptops.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did get a little sort of like fine tuning. I know at one point I had to get the whole operating system reinstalled. So the battery's new, but still, it's gone through some wear and tear for sure. Let me try. I wonder if I try to play one game at a time. Let me just see. One date at a time instead of just running it. Let me try this and see if this will help a little bit. So instead of playing straight through, let me just try to do one at a time and see whether that helps. And again, I'm hoping it's just that the machine is running a little hot. So let me see. Let's just try playing one game. Yeah, still does it. Let's see. All right, so it played that day. Let's do the next day. Play another day. So it plays the game. Let's do another day. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do all the seasons this way, but at the very least, I want to finish this season and then try to figure out what the issue is. All right, so next day, at least it's allowing me to do that. So this would be, it's this game here. And now our standings right now are Steve in the lead by half a game over Teddy, Nick a game and a half out, Anthony 3 out, magic number of 7 now. Let's go to the next game. Let's go to the next game. So right now our standings are Steve still with a half game lead over Teddy, magic number now of 6. We are up to 156 games. Nick is only 1.5 out, Anthony only 3 out. So we have 6 games left.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. This is crazy.
6 games left. So next day, and let me play that single game again. Play another one. All right, what's the standings now? Steve still with a half game lead over Teddy, 1.5 and 3. So I don't think anything changed. Actually, did the standings remain the same?
No, they've been going up in terms of games played. We just keep splitting 2-game series, I think.
All right. So it looks like 4 games left. Yeah, because it's a 160 game season when you have 5 teams. So here we go. 4 games left. So let's see. Steve loses. Nick beats Teddy. So the standings might be the same to some degree. Uh-oh, look at that. Teddy and Nick, half a game out. Anthony, 2.5 out. We have 3 games left.
I have a rain out, I think, to reschedule too.
Uh-oh. This could be interesting. Well, it's creating more suspense anyway. Teddy jumps into the lead. Magic number of 3. Yeah.
It's crazy that this glitch is happening in like such a close season.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, 1 out. Anthony, 2.5 out now. All right, here we go. All right, what do we have here? Steve wins and Teddy wins. So it looks like it's going to come down to the last game. So Teddy, magic number of 2, Steve half out, Nick 1.5, Anthony 3.5. So I think it's going to be between Teddy and Steve at this point. Let's see what happens in the last game of the season.
I have Haddocks pitching. That's not good.
Let's see. Here we go. Teddy with the victory in 17 innings.
Gosh, it's crazy. Wow.
Goodness.
Steve
All
also
right.
won. Okay.
Yeah, and you have that rain out, so that could be impactful because that could end up in a tie.
And
Let's
I
see.
think the streak there must be wrong because I just won a game and it still says I've lost 2 in a row. So there's something going on with the streak. But
Yeah, something's up. Yeah, that's the first time this program has ever gotten funky with me. Let's see. All right, let me do reschedule rainouts.
have you ever had a rain out that actually mattered before?
This one matters.
I know.
Yeah, no, I think we've had some where similar situation to this where it ends up in a tie at the end. So here we
Okay.
go. And what do we got? We got Tudor going up against Friends. So we have two aces going up against each other. So here we go. I think I have to do next day still. Yeah. Here we go.
I lost.
Nick with the victory.
So I ended up tied, I guess, right?
Yeah, so now we're gonna have to go to that run differential tiebreaker between Steve and Teddy. Let's take a look at that. All right, let me get out of this. You know what? I'm gonna get out of this program completely to see if whatever the issue is gets resolved. But before that, let me just log it on the spreadsheet because I have no idea what's going on. Let's see. All right, so Steve 84, Teddy's at 84. Nick logs in at 83, very, very close. Anthony, pretty good season also, 80, only 4 out. And then Jason, your team struggled. We'll have to see later on what the primary driver for that was. 69. All right. Let me minimize that. I am gonna just get out of this completely and pull up the other module. And I'll share this in a second.
Tiebreaker is run differential, right?
Correct. Yep. And I'm going to save the stats first before I share the summary screen, or else I might forget. All right. So this is the pitching. All right, guys. Can you see the yellow screen?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Teddy runs scored 613. Runs allowed 575. So that's plus 38. And then Steve 570 to 543, so that's plus 27. So Teddy wins.
Awesome.
Let's do it again. Just double check. 613, 575, that's plus 38. 570, 543, that's plus 27. All right, good job, Teddy. So you went on the run differential tiebreaker. Let me add those notes in here.
Wow.
That was close.
Close tiebreaker, too.
Definitely. Yeah, close all the way around.
Yeah, Nick had you both beat on the tiebreaker, I think.
Did he?
I think so. It was in the 40s.
So plus 38, Teddy, and then Steve was plus 27. All right, that
Nick
covers
actually
that.
outscored me. Wow. 623. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, Nick would have
Yeah.
had Nick had 45.
Yep. Nick.
45 and I was at 38. So yeah, he had a little bit better.
Yeah, if he had squeezed out a few more victories. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good job. Congrats. Let me go back to that other module and figure out if it was just a temporary glitch or if it's something that I'm going to have to try to figure out and kind of pause our sims, because obviously we can't do one game at a time forever. That was just we were close to the end of the season, so that's why we were able to do that.
Are you able to quit and reopen the software or anything like that?
I mean, that's exactly what I did. I just got out of
Okay.
it completely. Yeah. All right, there we go. So I'm going to erase these stats and we'll see if we encounter the same error. And if we do, I'm going to have to try to call support and figure out what the issue is, because again, I've never encountered that before. All right, so let me delete these stats. And this time I'm inclined to just keep it in the standings. Just keep it right here. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Steve, out to an early lead, just like in the prior season. Anthony right there. Nick and Teddy right there. Jason falling behind. Steve still in the lead, just like the season one. Teddy's right there. So is Nick and Anthony. Jason, I really think that bullpen, we'll look at it later in the last season, but I just think that bullpen probably letting you down.
Yeah, the one-run games are really lopsided for me.
Yeah. 5-12 and 1-5.
Mhm.
Steve in the lead. Anthony right on his butt. Teddy and Nick as well. Nick jumps into the lead now by a game over Steve. Anthony and Teddy still there. Nick's still in the lead, but Steve knocking on the door. So is Anthony and Teddy. There is Steve, jumps back into the lead. 2-game lead over Nick, and Anthony and Teddy still within striking distance after 104 games. Whoa, Steve.
Oh, wow.
7-3 the last 10, opened up a lead over Nick. A little less now, but still, now we have a magic number of 24. Magic number of 15. It seems like it's Nick and Steve right now. Teddy now 7.5, but magic number of 6, though. Steve clinches. All right, impressive. Let's see if we have any rainouts, at least one. All right, the final standings. Steve takes season number 2. Looks like we have a World Series on our hands, you guys. And knock on wood, the APBA program seemed to redirect and work. So we'll see if we can keep things going. I really think it might have been my machine was running hot. We'll see. All right, let me log this info and then save the stats. Steve, 91. Teddy, 83 for season 2. Nick also at 83. Anthony at 80. Anthony with 281 seasons. And then Jason, you're at 63 on that one. And let me highlight Steve. So after 2 seasons, Steve with 1 and Teddy with 1. And Nick, close call. All right, let me save these numbers and we'll be right back for season 3. Actually, I know we usually only look at the last season on stats, but let's take another look. Let's take a look at this season. We have a little bit of time and that'll give my old machine a little bit more time to cool off. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think I really expected Steve's team to be good, but
In the test sims that I did, he won some seasons. He didn't win the whole thing, but he won some seasons. So the team is good enough to certainly do some damage on a given season. All right, let me share this screen. All right, so this is the pitching for season 2 only, not 1 and 2 combined, just the last one. So let me sort by innings pitched. Well, you can't complain about Bob Friend, Teddy. 249, 315 innings.
yeah, those are definitely good results.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Hershiser, you can't blame him. 306 innings. I think in real life he pitched 267 maybe, so you got like an extra 30, almost 40 innings out of him.
Why is he only starting 35 games a season? Is Robinson using him out of the pen?
It looks like Robinson might have used him out of the pen some games. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's still getting to
Um,
306 innings.
exactly. Yeah. Either way, you got a ton of innings.
Because he
Um,
did have fewer innings than Bob Friend and Vern Law in the draft. And
yeah.
he's still, yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd get 40 starts out of him.
Yeah, I think that particular manager, the one you use, version 4, doesn't save your starters. So he'll basically use anybody. If he feels somebody will give him a save, he'll use him, even if he's one of your starters.
Anibal Sanchez had a 1.73 ERA for Steve.
Wow.
Crazy.
Nice. Nice. Look at that. Yeah, that's awesome
Yeah.
right there. And then what about on the bat spectrum? What do we have on the bat spectrum? Let's see. Well, before that, Anthony, look at Pena, 37 saves. You got your money's worth for him.
And rotation as a whole didn't really pitch it bad either.
Yeah. No, not at
Porcello's
all.
only guy above 4. So,
Yep.
Roy
Uh,
Face got beat up pretty bad there. I don't know why, but
uh, you know why? Because of your start, he was forced to start 13 times. Yeah. Because you don't, remember you benched Fury. So basically, what the sim manager did is he relied on face.
So did
Um,
my team get worse by benching Fury then?
no, I don't think so. I think you ended up because you're getting starts. Fury was a grade 4.
Okay.
Face even as a reliever, as a starter would be a grade 9.
Hmm.
So it was still the right move to make. It's just in this particular year or in this particular season he didn't do well, but usually he does. Let me see what other stuff here.
you said
Um,
Valenzuela right above face got killed coming out of the bullpen as well.
yeah, Venezuela. Wow. Yeah, that's Jason. That's what I mentioned to you with Valenzuela. That 6W is closer to maybe like a grade 3 or 4, and he got clobbered.
Yeah, but I did not expect him to ever start. He was a
Um,
he was a reliever.
yeah, let's take a look. I'm
Uh,
gonna pull up just your team when we're done with looking at all of these. I want to see exactly what
yeah,
your
my
manager did.
bo- my manager's really flawed. Picked the
I'll
wrong
take
one.
we'll take a look. All right, so that's it for pitching. Let's take a look at your
Which manager does Jason have?
I,
um
Buck
well,
Robinson 4. I thought I picked one where he'd leave them in the games longer, that they would start every 4 days, and they wouldn't get pulled early. I didn't think they would get used in meaningless games in relief.
we'll take a look and see what he did with your starters. But you might have a point. I've seen that type of manager help and hurt teams. So I don't know
Right.
if that was the case in your scenario, but I've seen that kind of manager help some teams for sure. But it really depends. Let me see. I think it works better when your entire staff is solid, but when you have some holes in the staff, it might not be the best pick. We'll sort this by OPS. All right. Well, Piat doesn't count. So the guy that you would expect to be up there is up there, Cabrera. Um, although not as high as in real life. And I'm not that surprised by that because this particular auction had a ton of pitching, which
Yeah.
would likely suppress some of the hitting. Yeah. Mickey Hatcher, I'm a little bit surprised at though. Cooper, Yant, Thomas. It looks like Steve got his money's worth out of Thomas.
Mickey Hatcher. Wow.
Yeah, that's an anomaly for
Yeah,
sure.
he's a platoon.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that again, I don't think. Um, all right, so Hatcher's a surprise. What about on the bad end of things? Any surprises here?
It looks like I thought Martinez would be way better. I don't even see him.
Whoa, you're right. 671
Yeah.
down here. Yeah.
Yeah, money is way down there too. He had an excellent year, but
Yeah, you're right. 665. Yeah, there were definitely some guys that underperformed. But again, not necessarily like super surprised. There was a ton of pitching in this auction. All right, let's take a look at the quantity numbers. Sort that by home runs. Wow, look at that. Gorman Thomas, 57 home runs.
Yeah, wow. I guess he had
Okay.
39 and
Yeah, okay, maybe I take that back. Maybe Steve did not overpay for Thomas. Wow. Again, this is only one season. When you get the Excel spreadsheet from me, you'll be able to see each season, but you'll also see the tab that combines all the seasons. So that's a bit of an anomaly for sure, I think. 37 from Chavez. That's nice, Jason. Cooper, Ogilvy, um, Steve, Anthony. Who was your best guy? Okay, Yant, I
Yeah,
think.
Yount.
Yeah, yeah,
And then Melater not too far down behind him.
yeah. Not
Molitor
bad.
stole 65 bases and was only caught 6 times.
Wow, that is nice.
Wow.
And I know that there were. I think Teddy, you had some. I think it was a Yost that did have a -4. Um, so there were some opportunities for some of these Steelers in some cases.
Yeah,
Sacks 40 and 10, not bad.
I also had the highest arm for my starting catcher too with Burgess, so Yount didn't have to go against him at all.
Good point. Yep, very nice. Durham 47 and 17. Gibson, Teddy 43 and 7. That works.
Yeah.
Anything over 75% is you can get some value out of. Okay, cool. And then the summary, which is also very instructive, is Teddy, you actually had the best pitching. Anthony came in second. Steve was not too far behind, 358. Jason, you were at 415. And then on the hitting side, let's see, runs scored. So Teddy, you actually had some bad luck because you scored the most runs and you had the best pitching, but yet you didn't
Yeah.
win. You didn't win this season. So you ran into a little bit of bad luck in this season. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
Let me just pull up Jason's team, and I want to just take a look at how his manager used his.
Anthony really had the best stolen base. He had a lot of stolen base value
Oh
there.
yeah, he looked fast. He looked fast before.
Wow, that is nice. 82%, 151 stolen bases. That's huge. Let me see this. We're looking for Jason's team here. Pitching.
Yeah, I had 3 Cy Young winners, and I have the worst pitching.
Yeah, let's
I'd
see if
I'd
we
fire the manager right now if I could.
let's uh let's sort it by innings pitched and see. Well, actually, let's sort it by games started first. Let's see
Yeah,
how.
that's where he messed up because I thought I'd have 4 guys start
All right, let's see.
all the games.
6
So
guys.
so Zito started 36. He was used 4 games as a reliever. Hershiser was used 10 games as a reliever, but he still had 21 complete games. And way outperformed his innings. So I don't think that hurt you.
But I had Cruz as a starter that was way better than whoever he started instead of.
Vukovic he used a lot.
Yeah, that's
Haas,
good.
yeah, Haas he used a lot in relief too.
But it looks like he used a 5th starter that wasn't Cruz every time.
Well, Cruz was your primary reliever though, wasn't he? He would have been
Yeah,
like sort of like
Cruz is not a starter. He's a reliever.
yeah, he's a reliever. So
Or maybe it
Cruz
was
would have been
McClure. Anyways,
yeah.
Valenzuela was one of my worst pitchers. I don't know why he's starting.
Well, I think you were gonna need some other innings besides your top four. He did give McClure 15 starts, but you're right. I would have wanted more minimizing of Valenzuela because I think he hurt you. Although McClure wasn't that far behind either.
I mean,
Um,
Hep and Ladd are position players who pitched 24 innings for me in blowouts, I guess.
yeah,
Those
16
aren't even
innings.
pitch. Those guys aren't
No,
even
he
pitchers.
Heap actually started a game.
Yeah, 8
Yeah,
innings.
like that
Yeah,
makes no sense.
yeah.
Maybe it ran out of innings, I guess.
It could be, and it sometimes it
Yeah,
is in
that's true.
innings. Yeah, sometimes it's also that a guy could
Tired.
be completely bushed. Yeah, yeah. But what I'm going to do, Jason, though, just to kind of rule things out to make sure that this guy didn't completely sink the team, because
Oh, it's
normally that.
okay.
No,
It's
I'm
okay.
what I'm going to do is run some sims with a different manager. Maybe I'll give you, the good old standby Buck Miller. I'm just
Mhm.
curious to see what kind of an impact this manager had on your team. So I'll do that, after we're done.
Yeah, okay.
I'll run some separate sims and send you the results because I am curious myself.
Yeah, I should have stayed with true and steady
Yeah.
Buck Miller
I
too.
mean, Zito, Hershiser, and Vukovic did do pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys were fine. It's these other guys especially these three guys here hurt you. Yeah. Because the other guys, and Cruz, I don't know why he underperformed. He didn't start any games. He was just bad. But still, I'm gonna run Sims with a different manager for you because you know why? This is the first time that we've ever used that manager. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I want to be able to rule him out. I want to be able to not recommend him to others if he really is not doing a good job. So listen to me talking like this guy is real. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I
Yeah.
had a fifth starter. This just I should have ran a 5-man rotation.
Yeah. So
That
well,
position player pitched a complete game, by the way.
I know. I know. He
that's
should have
funny.
he
Yeah, I
should
mean,
have
Uh,
pitched
he
more.
allowed 6 earned in 8 innings, which is
and 16 hits. Yeah. So
I'm
interesting.
wondering if that was that 17 inning game we played at the end in
Oh,
game
that
160.
no, it wasn't
no.
because he it was a complete game in only 8 innings. So
Yeah. And no,
Oh,
and that was
complete
and that
game.
was season one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, but somehow he only gave up 6 runs, you guys, even though he gave up 16 hits and 5 walks,
yeah,
21,
he
21 base
managed
runners.
the clutch situations well.
Yes, he did indeed. Yes. All right. All right. But again, Jason, I just out of curiosity and just to allay whatever concerns you might have, I'm gonna run a sim with a different manager and then send you the results, send everybody the results just so that you have them.
I mean, it could be that it looks like my defense was not very good, so it could be that I hurt my pitching that way too.
No, I don't think it was that bad. I mean, look at your defense here. It's not that far off from Nick, who had the best defense in this particular season. I don't think 14 errors is going to make that kind of a difference.
What
Okay.
is DER and UERP?
Where is it? You know what? I looked it up a while ago. I don't
Okay.
remember what it is. But if you Google it as a defensive stat,
Yeah.
it'll give you a definition because I've done that.
Okay.
Um, All right, let's see if we can go to season three, and then I'll run some sims with a different manager to see if this, yeah, to see if this guy, if we need to fire this guy permanently, Jason. All right, let's see. Let's pull up the league manager screen again. Let's erase season two stats.
It looks like it's going to be a close World Series. Otherwise, though,
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks competitive.
I
Let's
like I
see.
like the other 4 teams a lot.
Um, all right,
I
here
thought I
we.
was going to be competing with Anthony for the World Series, honestly.
Well, I mean, Anthony hasn't done bad. He's got 281 seasons.
Yeah, I just thought that Steve was
Yeah.
behind on both hitting and pitching, but I guess he's got a lot of excess plate appearances that are might not
Yep.
be used, so I don't know.
Yep. That's part of it, I think. Um, all right. Let's pull. We're back to 0-0. Here we go. Season three. And again, I'm just going to keep it here instead of scrolling. Early on, same deal. Steve jumps up to an early lead. Holding on there after 23 games. Let's see, Jason and Teddy 4 out, Nick 6.5, Anthony 8 out. "39 games in the books now, still very, very close. Steve is in first, Nick in second, Teddy third, Jason and Anthony. All right, a little less of a lead now. Teddy is right on Steve's heels. Anthony, Jason, and Nick. 1-game lead now over Teddy, 3 over Anthony, 6.5 over Nick. Jason falling behind. Half a game lead now. Anthony 1 out. Nick has fallen behind now. We are past the All-Star break. Steve, resilient, does not want to give up first place. 2.5 game lead. Anthony 4. 3 now. No magic number yet, but it's
He's
a 3.
25-11 in one-run games.
Oh,
Wow.
that's huge. But that could also turn on a dime. Anthony jumps into the lead now.
Wow.
Half a game over Teddy, 1 over Steve. Magic number. Teddy jumps into the lead. Half over Anthony, 1.5 over Steve. Teddy, 1.5, magic number of 9. Magic number of 3.
Wow.
And that is it. Any rainouts? Whoa, 3 rainouts.
Wow.
Let's see. Will it matter? Maybe. Let's see. Final tally here, gentlemen. The standings are Teddy holds on. Wow, close. 2 over Steve and
Crazy.
Anthony. Yeah. Yeah, Nick 13 out, Jason 23 out, but a close 3-team race. This has been an exciting World Series. Very close. Teddy, 88. Steve, 86. Anthony is at 86 also. Nick at 75. And then Jason at 65. All right, let me save these stats and we'll come back for season 4. But so far, we have ourselves a very tight series. All right, I'm going to save. Let's see, this is season 3 pitching. Here we go. Let me reshare that screen and we'll be back now for season number 4.
Good, yeah.
Okay, good. So let's see, when I stopped it, we were at, let's see. Anthony with an early lead, only 12 games played. Obviously, anybody's season at this point. So let me restart things. Here we go. $19 games played. Steve jumps in the lead now. Anthony, Nick, and Teddy. Let's take another look. Steve in the lead. This has been a recurring theme. Steve jumps in the lead early on in most seasons, but usually Teddy's right there. Anthony 6 out, Nick 12 out. Jason 13.5. Nick's team is surprising me because he did much better in the test sims that I ran. So I'm a little bit curious why Nick's team's underperforming. Steve still has a lead over Teddy. Anthony and Nick still in it. Jason falling behind. Steve with a 4-game lead. Nick must have heard me. 7 in a row now by Nick. 8 out, Anthony. Nick, 2.5 out. Teddy, 2 out. Steve still has the lead, though. 107 games played. Teddy jumps into the lead. Steve, 2 out. Nick, 3. No magic number yet, but there it is. And Nick jumps into the lead now. Teddy, half a game out, but Steve and Anthony are right in there. Teddy jumps back in with a magic number of 12. Nick, 1 out. Anthony, Yeah,
So many close seasons.
I
Crazy.
know. And it looks like it's over. Let's see if we have any rainouts. Yes, we do. Jason and Anthony. We're just going to go ahead and run it. Here we go. All right, gentlemen, here we go. Final tally on season 4. Teddy and Nick with a tie. Another tie. And look at this. Steve and Anthony, 2 games out. My goodness, this could be one of the closest uh, World Series we've ever had. Fantastic.
Did it seem like it was going to be this close in your tests?
No, in the test, to be honest with you, in the test, it ended up being you and Nick head to head.
Okay.
Anthony would win some seasons, Steve would win some seasons, but usually it ended up being you and Nick primarily. So this is great, very close. All right, let's just log these numbers and then we're going to pull up the run differential again to see if Teddy can pull off another run differential victory. All right, Teddy is at 85. Nick at 85. So Nick must have heard me when I said his team was underperforming. Steve, 83. Anthony, 83. Jason, 64. Either the manager or the bullpen letting him down, or both. We'll find out. All right. Before we do anything, let us take a look at who actually won this season. Let's go back to that other screen, which I have to go back to anyway to save the stats. All right, let me share this screen and we will find out together. All right, Teddy, for you, 690 minus 581. That looks pretty good for you, plus 119. And then what about
I think it's
next?
plus one. I'm plus 109.
Oh, sorry, 109. Yep. Plus 109. And then Nick is 652 and 603. So that's plus 49, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So you win another tiebreaker season. Impressive. Let me pull that up. So let's add a note here. Teddy is plus 109. And then Nick, what did we say Nick was?
Plus 49.
Plus 49. Yep. Nicely done. All right. That takes care of our logging of information. So, Teddy, one more season and you are the champ. Very close. So, let's see. What do we have on season averages? So, actually, Steve leads you by 1 on the average for the seasons.
Yeah.
And then Nick is right behind you at 82, tied with Anthony. So, very, very close. All right. Let us open up that other screen again. We'll do season 5. Oh, there we go. Thought I did that. Let's do it again. How about now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, let's erase these stats and we'll see if we can get another exciting season here. We are moving now to season 5. Here we go. All right, very early on. Let's see if the trend continues. No, Teddy jumps straight into the lead on this one. Usually it's Steve with an early lead. But Nick takes it back after 26 games. Teddy half a game out. Anthony 1 out. Jason and Steve 4 and 4.5. "44 games played. Teddy with a lead, half a game. Nick 1.5. Steve 2. Jason still only 6 out. If Teddy wins, it is all over. Opening it up now. 6-game lead, 6-4 the last 10 games. Nick 6 out.
Steve has 12 extra inning losses there.
Oof, that will kill you. Yeah. Nick making it interesting, 1.5. So is Anthony. Up 5 again. Teddy just won 4 in a row, 8-2 the last 10. 4.5. Still interesting. Anthony not that far behind at 7.5. 1 out now, magic number of 39. Nick's right there. Anthony at 9 out. Nick jumps into the lead. Magic number of 28. Nick, 2.5. Magic number of 17. Nick, 3. Magic number of 9. Can he hold on and make this interesting? Teddy jumps into the lead now. Magic number of 6. And it's over. Let's see if we have any rainouts. Here we go, guys. Teddy, did he do it? No! Nick comes back with 5 in a row at the end.
Wow.
Holy cow. That was awesome. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nick does it at the end to make it interesting. 93. Teddy is at 90. Teddy, that's your best season.
Well, I think I'll take an 84 with a victory over a 90.
Definitely. Steve, 77. Anthony, 74. And Jason, 66. All right. So Nick puts 1 under his belt there. So now we have a season 6. What do we have? Teddy at 3 with 2 run differential winning seasons. I don't think I've seen that before. That might be a first, actually. I've seen 1 plenty, of course. But this might be the first time that I've seen 2 within the same World Series decided by a run differential. So Teddy 3, Steve 1, and Nick 1. All right, let me save season 5. Right, I have all that saved. Okay, guys, can you see the screen, the league manager screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me delete the season 5 stats. And here we go. We are still on
Wait. I'm seeing February right now.
Yeah, I think the season starts in February. I don't think I changed the season parameters to start, but it should be
Oh,
0,
okay.
0.
It doesn't look like it's been cleared yet. Is that right?
Yeah, we're back to 0, 0.
Oh, I'm not seeing it being cleared, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, there might be a delay on your end because right now it's cleared on my end. But
Okay.
you are seeing the league manager screen?
Wait a minute. Am I? No, I'm not. Let's see.
Yeah, I still see it on my end, but it's showing that previous season still.
Okay, that's weird. I just cleared it on my end. Hold on. You know what? It unshared for some reason. Let me share it again. That's
Okay.
weird. All kinds of weird technological things happening today. Let me share it again. How about now?
Yeah, it's next season now.
Okay, good. All right, here we go. We're in the same situation as before. If Teddy wins, it is all over. Season 6, here we go. Right, let's see what the early going says. Teddy, 7 in a row, jumps into the lead over Anthony, Nick, Jason, and Steve. Three and a half out. Nick, Steve, Anthony, Jason falling behind. We're going to have to fire that manager or find out what the story is there. Teddy, 2.5 over Anthony, 4.5 over Nick. Steve falling behind a little bit. Still the same. Anthony right on Teddy's tail there, 2.5 out. Nick falling behind now. Anthony and Teddy, 79 games played. Looks like right now it's a two-team race. Anthony 4.5 out. Teddy loses 2. Anthony wins 3. Still about the same, but Nick is trying to claw back in it. Teddy opens it back up. Doesn't want to relinquish. 7.5, 9.5. I think Teddy smells victory, but maybe not. We'll see. 6.5 now. Anthony, 27 Magic. I think you might have this one, Teddy. 9-game lead now. Yep, 8.5 with 11 Magic. 10 with a 4 Magic. It is all over. Let's see what the final tally is here.
Now, let's see. Maybe I pulled off a brutal end of the season somehow.
Well, this might end up being your best season. So you finished it in style. Let's see. Final tally here is 93 victories. That is your best season. Congratulations. Teddy wins the Sim Auction World Series. Your second championship, Teddy. Let's see, 93 in season 6. Nick ends up at 86. Anthony at 79. Steve 77. And Jason 65. Okay, save this. Let me save it and we'll take a look at these stats. So in terms of averages, you pulled ahead in these last few seasons, Teddy. So you did end up also with the highest average. 87 for you, 84 for Nick, 83 for Steve, and 80 for Anthony, 65 for Jason. So the averages ended up being very close to what I saw in the test sims. There's 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to run some test sims with giving Jason a different manager. And just for my own curiosity, I'm going to run a test sim to see what would have happened if Teddy does not get Bolton. If Nick gets Bolton and Teddy gets Bradford, because that's what would have happened. If Nick would have gotten Bolton, then Bradford would have been one of the better relievers left. So probably Teddy would have gobbled him up. So, but it'll be interesting to see that one player is really the key to this auction. So, all right, let me save this. And I think what makes this auction fascinating is that, a lot of times an opponent will get a player that turns out to be the key to their winning, but it was unavoidable. Like there's nothing you could have done to prevent it. But in this particular auction, there could have been something to prevent it. That's what makes this even more fascinating. Okay, guys, can you see the yellow StatMaster screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So again, this is only the stats for this past season, just this last one. Obviously, I'll send you the compilation of everything by sometime tomorrow. But let's just sort the innings, the pitcher again by innings. Very, very similar to the last one. In this instance, Jason Hershiser, again, gives you a ton of innings, but he's used a lot in relief. Friend, nice job. Law, nice job as well. For Lander, nice job for Nick. Jason, Zito. Zito does a great job. Vukovic, good too.
Base had a good year this year.
Yeah. I'm looking for that scoundrel Valenzuela. Yeah, there you go. That's not good.
Oh,
Yeah, 748. That's not good. Well, actually, Valenzuela, Sutton was not great either. Yeah, that bottom there's not great. Cruz again, not great. And those are all relief innings. I think he was a grade 11. He wasn't a bad pitcher, so that's surprising. Okay. All right. Again, you'll have a little bit more clarity once you see all the seasons together. All right, that's pitching. On the percentage side of hitting, let's see. Let's see what we have here. Obviously, the top guy's not that significant.
Kirk Gibson. Wow.
Yeah, Kirk Gibson. Look at that for you.
And there's
Yeah.
Money having a good year this time.
Yeah, yeah. And then where's Miguel? There he is. Okay. Not over 1100 OPS, but still didn't contribute to winning. Wow, Yunt was intentionally walked 25 times. That's interesting.
Wow.
Especially with the speed and stolen base ability.
Yeah, that's odd. All right, interesting stuff. Let's see what we have on the quantity side of things. All right, no 57 home run season this time. Cabrera 34, Cooper, Gorman, Thomas back to more reasonable numbers. All right, nothing crazy there. What about on the stolen base side?
Yount only had 14 that time.
Oh yeah, 14 and 1.
What did he do in reality? He was he only had 14. Okay.
Yeah. Gibson was really gave you some nice all around numbers, Teddy. I think he was like one of the keys for your team too. Because power, he was in this particular season #1 in OPS.
Yeah, he was not somebody who I felt I got a particularly good bargain on, but
yeah,
like I thought he was fine, but I paid
Right.
about what I had him at for him.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think you made profit on him, but he gave you good numbers. Mahler 54 and 10. Sacks got caught a little bit too much. That's interesting. This guy here, Gonzalez, the one that I was bad mouthing before, steals 20 bases.
Yeah, that's why I picked him up. He had
Oh, okay,
really
no,
high speed.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that worked out. All right. And then the other was just the summary. So the tail here is, I just want to look at Jason's team for a second. So from a hitting perspective, so Jason, you scored the least amount of runs, so that obviously that didn't help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd be strong there. I thought Martinez would do way better, but
yeah.
so hitting him was probably not the best idea.
Program has a function that supposedly generates what it thinks is the best lineup. And I know it
Yeah.
differed from the one that you sent me. So I sent you the ones that were recommended by the program, because Sacks first wouldn't have made sense.
No, it was a bad lineup. The first one, the one
Yeah.
I sent.
Yeah. And then, the pitching, you ended up last in pitching, which obviously when you're last in runs scored and last in pitching, it's not going to turn out well.
Well, his best hitter was supposed to be Chavez, who we had a pretty big bidding war on, and I think he didn't really perform that well from the two seasons we looked at.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens when I compile all six. So,
That could be a platoon issue because he is a 5 platoon, but
correct, correct. Yeah. So let me stop sharing this.
Yeah, I think the main thing is I drafted a lot more players than I usually do in terms of and I needed a good manager to kind of minimize the damage at the bottom of my bullpen. That's actually the strongest bullpen I think I've ever had.
Well, I mean,
But I've
it's
never I've never had weak pitchers start that much.
let's just take a quick look here. I just want to sort it by.
I would have started, I think I would have thrown McClure in as my fifth starter if I would have known that was going to happen.
I think if you had this bullpen in other drafts that at least that I've been in, it wouldn't be that bad compared to other people. But this particular draft had so much bullpen stuff that I think yours was weaker than others.
Oh yeah,
Correct.
clearly.
Yeah, that's a good assessment, Teddy. I'm
Yeah.
still very surprised by Cruz though, because the two seasons that we looked at, he just got shelled, and he's not a bad pitcher. I mean, 11 ZG is a good pitcher. So I'm
Right.
kind of surprised, and he wasn't started at all. He was just used in relief, but he still got hammered.
I wonder if there's a way to check if he was getting used tired or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Uh, I'll look. I'll look to see if his innings should be somewhere near 71, maybe a little more. Um, I do think the guy that would definitely have hurt you would have been Valenzuela. I just want to check the number of starter innings though. Hold on. But keep in mind you only have 9 pitchers, Jason, so there's going to be some overuse there. Um,
Yeah.
actually, there is one thing I can show you. Hold on. Let me go back to this. I'll share this screen again. This will give us an idea of how tired the pitchers were at the end of the season. So let me pull this up. Hold on.
I mean, Hershiser's ERA is 2.26 in real life, and he was so far from that.
Let me see here. I shared the league manager screen again. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me show you this other thing here.
Like Hershiser's opening day was against Anthony's fourth starter every season, and I think he lost his opening day start against Anthony's fourth starter every season when he's totally rested.
All right. So this is the
So
first game of the season here. Let's see.
yeah, see, look at Tuesday. Hershiser loses.
Yeah, 5 earned runs, 5 hits, 4 walks. Let's just do take a look at what the manager's doing for the
Oh,
beginning.
and Zito came out of the bullpen. See,
Did
that
he?
doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me.
Yeah, this manager was not good
Zito was my
because
day two
Zito
starter.
would have been your day 2 starter. Yeah. So let's take a look and see what he did in game 2 now.
So my two aces contributed to an opening day loss.
So that's interesting. He still uses Zito, which not that surprising. I don't think he would have been tired. Lad McClure. So that's
You
game
did
2.
win this game, so
Okay, so this is game 2. Game 3. So he uses Valenzuela in relief and Haas, who's another starter to save, which is, not surprising. I mean, he's going to have to, you only have 9 starters. He's going to have to use some of
But
these guys in relief.
he's using the guy in relief that's scheduled to pitch the next day.
Yeah, that's
He did
odd.
it with Zito on the first game, and he did it with Haas on the third game.
he saw what Yoshinobu Yamamoto did this year and he was inspired.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna do that every time. And
Well,
then
this-
that game, and then
well,
that
this-
game went.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, and it looks like they win extra innings, which
Well,
doesn't
this
help.
is the game that I think might derail things because it's a 16-inning game. So what do we do here? Okay, Haas, McClure, Sutton, Cruz pitches 4 innings, good innings, and then Ladd blows it. All right, and then we go to the next game. Hershiser pitches again doesn't pitch well. We
Yeah, it's
can't
a rough
blame
one.
that on the manager. That's 2 games Hershiser didn't pitch well. Let's go to the next
Yeah,
one.
so is that
Yeah.
defense? I don't know what that is.
I mean, you made 2 errors, but Nick's team made 3.
I don't know what else I can do besides
No,
draft the best pitcher in the pool.
and you did. I just think you might have paid a little bit too much for him. Okay, this next game, Zito pitches a one hitter. So
And I thought that would happen a lot more often. Like I think I was looking at the number of complete games Hershiser got.
I mean, you still get a lot of innings out of him. I was just surprised that he was used 10 games in relief, because usually the pitchers that can do that or do that, it'll be just a couple of games, not 10. So I think this guy
Right.
really, really took that to heart more than some of these other pitchers that do that. Okay, you won this
Right.
next one, McClure. You win this one again, Vukovic with a complete game. So far, I don't know what the issue must have rolled up later on in the year.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they eventually get exhausted.
yeah. This is another good game here. Zito, another good game. Hershiser, 2 innings in relief, though. That makes that probably not a good idea. But the game was close still, 1-0. Valenzuela pitches this one. Yeah. Cruz, see again, Cruz, good pitch.
There's a Roy Face start for me.
Yeah. Not great, but kept you in the game.
Yeah.
This one is McClure, Hershiser again. Is that 2 in a row in relief? Yeah, but that's after 3
Yeah.
games. That's after 3 games off, though. No, it's not.
It's before. I mean,
Before, okay.
I can before 3 games off, I can see it, I guess. Maybe that's what I can see that.
Yeah, I
He
wonder if you had
starts-
one more relief pitcher, if it could have avoided using some of these starters.
I think so,
Yeah,
because
probably.
nine is tight. But what I really wanted to show you is when you pull up. Let me see. Let's pull up Jason's team. This will give you the condition of the pitching staff at the end of the season. So let me pull up team status. So these were your guys at the end. So the only guys that were rested at the end were Zito and Valenzuela. Everybody else was worn out.
Yeah, so doesn't the grade of the pitcher get heavily discounted if he's tired or he's worn out?
Yes, the game doesn't give you that equation, but yes, when they're pitching tired, they're not going to perform up to their normal level.
Right. So if Hershiser has to pitch every day, he's never going to be
Well,
himself.
not every day, yeah, because typically the pitcher is going to need 3-4 days rest. But that gives you an idea of the fact that towards the end of the year, your guys were pretty beat up. Let me just compare that to everybody else. So that's you. Let's just take a look at Steve.
Yeah, Steve had a lot of excess stuff,
Yeah,
at least
his
on the hitting
guys-
side. Maybe not.
His guys were worn out too. It had a couple of. See, there's different ratings. Tired is not as bad as worn out. Worn out is worn out. Tired means you could still pitch, you just won't pitch as well. Worn out means you're just going to be really, really bad. So Steve was actually in better shape than you because he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys technically that could have been used at the end of the season. You had 2. Let's see. What about Anthony? So Anthony had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that could have been used. Itchy means that the guy hasn't pitched in a few days and he wants to get in there.
Okay.
So Anthony was in really good shape at the end of the year. And what about you, Teddy?
I was pretty close to the innings minimum.
You were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, he had Buck Miller, right? And Buck Miller kept Albuquerque itchy. I needed Buck Miller to keep Valenzuela itchy because I think they're both six. They're both 6 W's.
Yeah, good point. Let's see, Teddy. So that's interesting, Teddy. So somehow your manager managed not to use these last 3 guys that much.
Yeah, but they're itchy, but they're all fours, so
Right,
they're
right.
not good.
And
Okay,
everybody else
pretty
was
tired.
yeah, which is what I would expect because you were at the bare minimum. You were at 1,375 innings.
Yeah, I was literally to the
Yeah,
inning at the minimum.
yeah. And then what
So,
about Nick?
oh, actually, can you go back to mine? I see a lot of
Yeah,
worn out hitters compared to the
yeah.
other teams. Is that seems like I have a lot of worn out hitters.
Fonte, Ellis, Iglesias. Yeah, you did have a
Huh.
few worn out hitters.
That seems like that's more than what I saw on the other teams.
Yeah. So again, same thing
Yeah.
with hitters. They're not going to perform as well when they're worn out. And then what about Nick? Let's see. See, Nick probably had the best.
Yeah, see, he doesn't have any fatigue at all on
Yeah,
the, well, actually on either side, but on the hitting side, he doesn't really have the fatigue I had. Yeah,
correct.
he has not on the pitching side either. Did he? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was very balanced. Had enough innings and enough PAs to go around.
That's
So that's
probably why when I was looking at it, I thought me and Anthony were going to be the two teams that competed because I was probably underestimating the depth
correct.
factor. And
Yeah,
I thought, yeah,
yeah,
Anthony and I probably didn't have as much depth as Steve and Nick. So,
correct. Yeah, and that's something you do want to keep an eye on. The depth piece is important. Um, so guys, thank you. As you've seen, every one of these sort of has a different life, like so one strategy that might be tremendous in one auction might not be the best in the other. So um and for me it was interesting because I was just kind of like a spectator in this one. But I did notice when you bought Bolton, I think that's his name, right? Did I get the name right? Bolton?
yes,
Uh
he
when
had
you
one season in his career that was decent, by
Yeah,
the way.
when you bought Bolton at, for $4, I said, "Ooh, I think that might have been the one." Because in every auction there is like one purchase that I feel is the tipping point. And that was the one.
Yeah, I knew he was coming, and I was basically trying to
Yeah,
make sure that I had more money than anyone else
yeah.
when he came up.
But you saw what I meant by the rationale. If Nick had brought up Bolton when he brought up Bradford, you wouldn't have been able to counter it. You just didn't have enough money. He had more than
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I actually assumed because there was a point where
Yeah,
neither Face or Bolton had come up, and I was like, okay, I think I can get one of them, but I know Nick's going to get the other. And
yeah,
as it turned out, I ended up getting both
yeah,
because he went with Bradford, which I think was a bit of a mistake.
yeah. That was a killer. So, but hey, that's what happens in the heat of an auction. Keep in mind you're paying attention to who you need, who you might want to bring up. If you're not looking at everything, it's very easy for a player to slip by. And I'm curious. I'm going to ask Nick if he knew, if, like, was Bolton in his head, or did he just think he couldn't get him? But when you do the math, he definitely could have gotten him. So it's interesting. But it's always fun. There's always something to learn, and obviously, what makes it challenging. So what I'm going to do on my end is obviously compile all the seasons, put them in an Excel spreadsheet like I typically do, send it out to everybody. And then, Jason, just to allay not just your concerns, but really mine, because I don't want anybody using that manager if he's not, going to do well by the team. So I'm gonna run some sims where I just take him out of your as a manager and give you just Buck Miller too, to see what that would have done to the standings because I'm curious. And then I'm also gonna run a sim where I'm just gonna swap Bradford for Bolton again to see what that would have done because I think it's gonna be eye opening both of those. So all right, guys, a big thank you.